given that AI is so disruptive and so quickly changing the landscape for our future, of course, as a parent, I'm concerned about what the future will look like for my kids. My kids go to an international school, MIS, where I am today here in Pattaya, and I met with James Kemp, who invited me to one of their presentations to outline how they're changing to keep relevant and move with the times.
So today we're talking about how we're going to supplement our curriculum. You know, we're going to keep going with GCSEs and A-levels because they're really the backbone of everything that we do. But we're going to be augmenting that, supplementing it, adding things like esports into the curriculum, making it relevant, adding real life skills, tangible skills that kids can take with them, like leadership, entrepreneurship, teamwork, strategic thinking, all of those things that are going to be meaningful in a transferable sense, but also are going to stay with them for a lifetime.
Because as a parent, I am concerned for the future when I look at modern, curriculums now, and the uncertainty of how AI will disrupt everything quickly.
As a teacher, I'm also very concerned because I don't know if I'm going to have a job in 10 years' time. So what's that job going to look like? And I have that conversation with other professionals, both here in Thailand and when I go to conferences elsewhere in the world. I'm not sure. That's the thing. AI is going to radically transform everything in the way that the internet did, but perhaps even more so because it adds that element of creativity, artificial creativity, true, but it's still creativity that the internet didn't. I think increasingly we're going to be looking at bespoke hybrid programs for the kids. Obviously, further down the school, that's going to be more supported. But then you've got these questions like independence, resilience, how do kids organise their time? To what extent is a teacher involved in that decision-making process? To what extent are the parents involved? So I'm seeing the future schools becoming more like hubs of learning, where kids are all accessing learning through different portals, different areas. So some kids will be doing an AI module, or a module that's delivered through AI in some sense. Others will be a classroom-based module, and those things will interact. And I don't know what that's going to look like, and no one does. That's kind of terrifying and exciting in equal measure, I think.
Yeah, but I think for me as a parent and a working expat here, I'm putting the onus on you as the school that I send my kids to find the solution now, so my kids will be prepared when they leave school.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that's why I wanted to come today. So you're looking at replacing courses to A-levels?
No. So we're looking at supplementing. So with esports, that's going to supplement our existing ICT curriculum, but in a meaningful way. Lots of our kids are involved in esports online, all gamers. They're slightly different things. But how do they do that responsibly? How do they do it in a healthy way? How can we teach things like marketing, event management, events planning, all through the medium of esports, so it's engaging for the children? We see these courses supplementing already existing A-levels, so students might choose an A-level and this course to supplement it, because A-levels don't fit for everyone. That's the brutal truth of A-levels. I understand that only about 35% of UK children actually do A-levels. They move on to do professional qualifications and other things. So we need to respond to that in a meaningful way. We can't just cleave to traditional paradigms around education and expect that to work next year, 20 years, 50 years down the line. So that's how we're trying to respond.
Yeah, and I agree with you, because I think it's slightly dated, old-fashioned outlooks that, you do your GCSE, you do your A-level, you do your degree, you make yourself smarter, and that's a prerequisite of success. It's not.
Kids don't believe it anymore. Generation Alpha don't believe it anymore. They are a Generation Alpha, born 2010 onwards. They were born in economic turmoil. They're existing through ecological collapse. They've lived through COVID. They no longer trust that story. And I don't blame them. That story that you and I were told when we grew up, go to school, go to university, and everything will be fine. You have the same job for 40 years, you'll retire to a great pension. That's no longer the case anymore. Children now are going to have many different jobs with many different technologies. So how do we address that? Well, we teach them the core skills that they need to succeed in any environment. Teamwork, leadership, strategic thinking, entrepreneurship, time management skills, resilience, independence. These things never go away. So if we can get those kind of nailed down a bit in secondary school, not perfect, no one's perfect by the time I leave secondary school, I'm not perfect now, that's the first step, I think.
Okay, well, James, MIS School, thanks for being refreshingly honest and inviting me to find out what the future is.
Always welcome.
enjoyed that. It's reassuring to see that established educational establishments here in Thailand, like MIS, are very much thinking about the future, thinking about the impact on our kids, and making the appropriate changes now to make sure our kids are equipped to be a success as they embark on life. Okay, hope you enjoyed that too. Keep safe. Down about Thailand.